name is Tylluan. I'm a solitary pagan witch. I'm an author and the founder of the Wolf and Howl Press. Today's little chat is about witches and exorcism. Now, this was actually in response to a comment somebody made on one of my videos and mentioned it, so I thought, yes, I'll give it a go. We make a mistake with exorcism if we think it is something that only a priest can do. Okay? People have been trying to exorcise places, people, animals, all sorts of things. They have been trying to exorcise them for, well, probably as long as they have got together for rituals. It's a very, very ancient ritual to do. And the early church, I don't know what it's like now, but the early church actually adopted an ancient Greek form of court case. So basically when they did an exorcism, they put the devil, as they felt it was, on trial. Now, of course, witches, Wiccans, pagans, some of us have quite a problem with the idea of the devil. For me, I don't believe that the devil is there as an entity. I don't believe that the devil is somebody who's just waiting to catch us out. I do believe things can be evil. I believe some people can do evil things. But I think it's a bit of a cop-out to say, thank you, Noah, I think it's a bit of a cop-out to say, the devil made me do it. Because that's really not taking responsibility for yourself. And I know there is a saying, well, the greatest achievement of the devil was to persuade people he didn't exist. Well, that's a bit of a cop-out in its own way, really. Because there are all sorts of objections we can raise to that, but we're not about that. I'm not having a go at other religions. I'm trying to talk about witches and that. Can we perform an exorcism? Can we perform a pagan exorcism? Yes, yes. Almost every religion performs some kind of exorcism. When they feel something has gone wrong, when they feel someone has become unduly influenced by something, when they feel someone has become taken over by something or affected by something, or a place has become infested, if you like. Yes, of course they can. Everybody does it and they all do it differently. Now, sometimes exorcisms rightly get a very bad press because they end up beating the person they're supposed to be saving to death. Why? Very important to understand this. The reason they do that is because they believe that they are not hurting the person, they are hurting the evil entity who has got into them. Now, it's very important to understand, yes, even if you believe this, you surely can't believe that killing a human being is the right way to go, because I don't. I think what you're ultimately trying to do is a process, for most people, it's a process of cleansing, purifying. You have to start with that. Cleansing, purifying, trying to clear things away. And with my interest in magic and breathing, it's quite significant that the ancient Greeks would exorcise by blowing on the person afflicted. They would blow on them from head to foot to make the possessing entity, whatever it is, disappear. Often the problem is that people become obsessed with something. It's not so much that something becomes obsessed with them, although it can happen. But mostly these things happen, from the living, not from an evil entity swanning around in the ether who is trying to get their hooks into us. Mostly what happens to us is that we almost destroy ourselves from the inside out. If you listen to people who believe in the aura, for example, when somebody becomes ill, when they have a particular character trait which is very destructive, this can damage the aura. That is the belief in it. It basically allows bad things to affect you. It's a little bit like getting an infection in an open wound. Think of it that way. And that's what often happens. We damage ourselves. We damage ourselves with having too much temper, a sense of being aggrieved. I've known people who are permanently aggrieved. It doesn't matter. You could say good morning to them. They would take it as a declaration of war. It's the same sort of thing. we have to try and heal ourselves from the inside. And sometimes it means we really do need to shut off from the world a bit. I think it's one reason why people became hermits quite often. I think it was this desire to get away from group work. It's one big advantage we have as solitaries, that we can try and withdraw. We don't have to allow so-and-so in our coven to annoy us and get us to the point where we're chewing the carpet. We can actually try and get aside and heal ourselves to start with. And obviously we try and help others to heal. But really, this is the thing with exorcism. I am going to go into it in future videos in a little bit more detail, but this is just the principles of it. Anybody can do it. Whether anybody wants to do it is another matter, because it's a very it can be a very draining process. And it doesn't always work the first time, which is another thing. And another one is, if you are going to attempt anything like helping somebody you believe is being affected by an outside force, for heaven's sake, don't have anyone with you who is a bit flaky. You have to have people who are good in a crisis. You don't want them going to bits. So that's my starter for 10, if you like. That's my first take on the subject. I do hope you found it interesting. I tried to keep the little talk short so we can deal with each thing in chunks, and I will return to the subject again. And thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.